Hello, everybody. Sorry I'm running a little bit late tonight. Hope everyone is having a good night. It is time to get started. I'm a little bit out of sorts because before I came on live tonight. But hope everyone is having a good night tonight. Hope you are having a good Sunday and hope that your weather is doing well there wherever you are. The weather here was quite hot today. It was 99 degrees on the temperature gauge, 108 with the heat index here in Alabama in Montgomery today. And I think the low is supposed to be like 85 tonight. So what's everyone up to tonight? Did you guys go to church this morning? Get your worship on? Hope so. Hope you had a good day. Don't mind me. I'm just getting everything set up. So let's welcome everybody in. Marty, welcome into the live stream. I hope you're having a good night. Marty says, did you know Hulk Hogan died? Yes, I did. That was national news. So, yeah, I think everybody knew that. It's sad to hear that he died. Also, Malcolm Jamal Warner, you may not have heard of him, Marty, but he was on a TV show that I watched quite a bit. Cosby Show. He was one of the kids on the Cosby Show. CG Anime Fan, welcome in. He says that he hopes everyone has been having a really good week. And he said on Thursday he saw the new Smurfs film. Okay, well, how was that? Marty says, hey to Uncle Sam. And Brent says, welcome. Welcome, Brent. Brent says, hello to everyone. I'm glad you're here tonight, Brent. We've been missing you. I hope you've been doing okay. Invisible River, 109 there in Arizona where Invisible River is. Hope you're having a good night, Invisible River. And William, welcome. William Smith to the live stream. Hope you're having a good night. Hope that you and Val are doing okay. Everything's going well. Brent says he went to church. 2016. Sorry for your a couple of times. Did you guys see a black screen for a minute? Brent says he's a huge Hulk Hogan fan. Of course, he's one of those die-hard WWF and wrestling fans. Okay, so yeah, like I was saying, it was a super, super hot day today, and we had a pretty good weekend. Saturday, I'm going to show you some of the photos. I didn't go yard selling on Saturday because we had a special day at the vendors. We're supposed to be at the flea market this weekend because we had a special day for our customers. We had a customer appreciation day, and they were giving out $100 gift certificates every hour on the hour. So there was a lot of folks there at the booth this weekend, and so we stayed. Me and my wife Carol, we call her Mrs. Side Hustle. We were at the booth this weekend. We did not go yard selling, but I did have a gentleman come visit me at the booth, and he brought a bunch of stuff for me to look at to see if I wanted to buy it. So I'm going to share some of the photos of some of the stuff that I've already listed of that stuff that I picked up this weekend with you guys. So let's see if I can share this album. So I bought a lot. It was a whole tub of fast cars, and there was some collectible knives. Board game. So I'm going to show you guys what I got this weekend. The stuff that I've actually listed. Some of it may show up a little sideways. So this was a Dale Earnhardt tin. And inside the tin were these 3 cars. And so I listed that on eBay. That was one of the things. And that's showing each individual car. Nothing spectacular. I think I listed it for like $24. There's the knife, one of the knives that I listed. It was number 3 for Dale Earnhardt Sr. A lot of people are Dale Earnhardt. Intimidator rolls a 7, so that's a special issue knife for the seventh win that Dale Earnhardt Sr. had. And that's what the knife looked like. It was actually a numbered. Uh-oh, Tigger's coming. I got to get him before he steps on my keyboard. And you know what he'll do if he steps on my keyboard? He likes to shut me down. So that's what that knife looks like. Nothing spectacular. There's a set of knives. This is Dale Earnhardt Sr. and Dale Earnhardt Jr. knives that came together as a set. There's another knife, number 3 of Dale Earnhardt Sr. And a little, this thing was neat. It looked like a little Coke machine and had a little Coke car. You know, Dale Earnhardt drove a Coke car for a while. And this one is the big thing that I purchased. Now, the rest of it was, I paid $75 for. There were a couple of die-cast cars, and then that stuff, a couple of pictures that I haven't taken photos of yet. But this was the big thing that I purchased, and I bought this for $100. So I spent $170 completely altogether, and this is a huge, huge box. And what it is, it's a 1/4 scale NASCAR Winston Cup motor, and it is it's got signatures, live signatures on these cards inside the bottom part of the plaque. Dale Sr. and a couple others. Teresa Earnhardt was Dale Sr.'s wife, and Dale Jr. signed it. And this is what the motor actually looked like. It's the picture doesn't really do it justice, but this thing is huge. And when I looked it up online, these things are selling anywhere between $350 to $600. So I figure if I could sell it for $350, I would at least get back my money and actually double my money that I spent this weekend. So that's what, so you can see my foot for comparison for the size of this motor. And it's actually a working motor. You can turn the crank and it will actually turn the pistons inside the motor. But that was too big to put in my booth. So it's not in my booth, but I listed it on eBay. CG says the new Smurfs is a really cute movie and upbeat film in his opinion. Okay, well, good. I'm glad you liked it. And Outdoors, welcome Outdoors, Dreadhead. Yo, bro. And Marty asked how her aunt is doing. She's doing just fine. Brent says you're breaking up. I can't understand you now. You're frozen. Sound was funky. I hope it's better now. Yeah, it was sputtering a bit. I hope it's not doing that now. Outdoors says, the news says y'all are under a heat warning. Stay cool in that AC. Yeah, it is super hot here. It's, you know, with the heat index, it's way over 100. Invisible River, no go. Your cat is funny. Mama loves Coca-Cola. Mama has a lot of Coca-Cola in her kitchen. Nice motor. Thank you. Does your cat like to play with toys? Yeah. Also, the Happy Gilmore sequel came out on Netflix on Friday. Invisible River says it's better now, comes and goes 2 times. Let me try something. I'm gonna switch over to my I don't know if you noticed I'm wearing Wolfman's Goodies t-shirt tonight, the one that he sent me. But I'm going to turn on my Wi-Fi on my phone, which is much faster than the Wi-Fi I have here at the eBay house. So I'm going to turn on my personal hotspot. Now I'm going to see if I can transfer this live stream to my personal hotspot. So y'all, if I lose you for a second, I'll be right back. Okay, so now I'm on my phone's hotspot. So you guys let me know if it's better. Invisible River says, nice t-shirt. Thank you very much. Must be 2K Wi-Fi. It's not a very strong Wi-Fi. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. I'm with a company called Charter, and that's one of the 2 main places here in Montgomery. So I'm gonna share some videos with you. I took a few impromptu videos of some of my customers shopping this weekend. So I'm gonna share a little bit of that with you. And then I'm gonna share with you some figures, some numbers from my booth. Oh, I bought 2 Xbox Series X's on eBay, and the plan was for me to try to fix them. I got both of them in, and was going to change. I changed the retimer chip on both of them. I couldn't get either one of them to work. So that was going to be a video that I was going to share with you, but it didn't happen. So here's one of my customers doing a little perusing, looking at my bottom shelf is all Wii games. Then I've got PlayStation 4 up above that, and then PlayStation 3 above that. Then PlayStation 2 above that, and above that is the Xbox 360. And I ended up moving my VHS around and using some of the space underneath where the DVDs are to put more video games. So that's expanded some. Invisible says his Bitcoin miners use 2K. How's your son Justin doing? He's doing good. So you can see my record rack. It's got a lot of records on it. I've really done well with the records in the flea market booth. So, I'm really happy with that. Okay, let's get to another video. I'm going to show you one from this past weekend. Kind of shows off the booth a little bit. Let's see. All right, so this one will let you see what the booth looks like. These folks were shopping and looking at records and stuff like that. You can see on the left, that shelf right there, I have all the die-cast cars. A lot of stuff sells on that shelf pretty quickly, which I'm really happy about. Let's see. Oh, here's one. This is an older couple. The guy was looking at the die-cast cars, and his wife was showing him a record. Unfortunately, she didn't buy the record, and he didn't buy any die-cast. If you see this big poster thing right here, on the other side of that is a big dinosaur, and it's a Jurassic Park movie poster that would have been in the theaters when the Jurassic Park movie came out. I've had a lot of people look at that, and some have shown interest, but unfortunately nobody has bought it yet. But you can see my booth is really full. It's about as full as it can get, and it is doing very well. The booth is. Not this second 2 weeks of this month haven't been as good as the first 2 weeks were. Marty says, do you have the Beach Boys record? Yeah, I do have a Beach Boys record. I got a lot of Chicago records too. Invisible River says, you got all the good stuff. Yeah, thank you. And Badlands Bandit, welcome. He says, good evening and welcome, and to me and the Retire Inspire Nation. William says, did you put your own booth together? Yes, I did. I did it all myself. So it actually looks kind of like a little store within itself. And so I get a lot of people that ask when I'm there, like putting out stuff, they ask me, can I come back behind the counter, because they think it's like a store, and a lot of people try to buy stuff right there at the counter, and I'm like, I don't sell it here. You have to go up to the front in order to buy it. Invisible River says, you like ribeye steaks, right? Oh man, I love ribeye steaks. Ask my friend Outdoors Dreadhead. I cooked him a steak, cooked him, and both of us had a ribeye in the desert in January. Marty says, what are you doing tomorrow? Tomorrow is going to be a busy day. Now, let me tell you about tomorrow, because tomorrow is going to be super, super busy. I am going to be going to the My Kids Attic booth, not the one at Eastbrook Flea Market, the one I just showed you. I'm not going there tomorrow, but I'm going to My Kids Attic booth, and I'm going to be taking everything out of the booth. I gave them a 30-day notice. I'm just not making any money in that booth, so I'm going to have to close it down and shut it down completely, because I'm not just going to give them, $135 every month not to sell my stuff. So, I mean, I'm sorry, but business is business. You got to be smart when it comes to business. You can't just lose money month after month. CG says, your booth seems really cool. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Invisible River says, I know where they are at. The steaks. You know where the steaks are at. Okay. Well, maybe we'll get some next January. Fresh. Cool. Outdoor says, we love steak. Bro, I have it on the regular. Yeah, I love a good steak. You can't eat red meat too much, or I can't. I don't know about you. You could probably eat red meat every day of the week, Invisible River, but I can't eat red meat every single day, because it just it messes with my system. So, I mean, I love it, and I'll eat it maybe once or twice a month, but not more than that. CG says, by the way, he's feeling better than he was in the previous weeks. That is great. I'm glad to hear that. And Outdoors wants to know where the steaks are. What's your favorite drink? My favorite drink is, I want to say Dr. Pepper is my favorite drink. Thank you for the question, by the way. But I think Dr. Pepper is my favorite drink, and it's a big competition between regular Dr. Pepper or cream soda Dr. Pepper. I really like the cream soda Dr. Pepper. Cream soda is really one of my favorite sodas. So, what are your favorite sodas? What do you guys like? Invisible River says, one night only. So the steaks are only available one night. And in Oro Valley near Tucson, Arizona. Okay, so let's check out the sales for the last week in my flea market booth. And if you're new to my channel and you're not familiar with my flea market booth, I have two flea market booths. One of them is going to be closed at the end of this week. On the last day of this month, it'll be completely closed. But the other one is in the basement of Eastbrook Flea Market, and it is doing very well. I'm very pleased with it. I feel like it's been well worth it. The money that I've made in that booth has been well worth the time that I've spent on it. The booth rent for that particular booth is $250 a month, and then I pay an extra $5 to have a cord that goes to it, which supplies me with electricity so that I can run my cameras. But this is the last 2 weeks of sales. This is from the 15th of July until today. So it ends on today was the 27th. So you can see that I probably shared some of this stuff with you last week from this 15th through the 19th or 20th. But it's been not too bad. $253 in sales in the last since the 15th, so about a week and a half. So I've sold a couple of metal signs, which is good. So I've got some more signs that are in my eBay store that I'll probably pull out of my eBay store, and I'll get those put into my booth because the metal signs seem to be pretty popular. Sold a zombie sign that I picked up at a yard sale. It says it was just a zombie, said zombies on it. And I'm still selling the video games. The PS4, sold a PS4 game for $18 on the 16th, a DVD on the 17th for $5. So I'm selling stuff pretty regular, pretty much every day. I'm selling at least one item. I want to see more of the video game consoles go out the door. I was kind of expecting to see a little bit more activity this weekend since it was a customer appreciation day, and we spent most of our day up there, but the sales didn't really reflect the time that I spent there. Should have been better, but I mean that's not on the flea market. That's I guess the customers were there so they could get that hourly raffle, that $100 gift certificate every hour, and they weren't as much interested in shopping. But that's okay. I did sell a couple of items anyway. But sold a baseball game for $9 on the 19th, and a MLK record for $30. That was Martin Luther King, one of his speeches, the I Have a Dream speech. I had it on record, and someone bought that for $30. And then it says a plate for $37 and an Xbox game for $12. And then I sold a toy car on the 20th. That would be a die cast for $15. Bunny frame on the 23rd for $5, and a die cast car for $5. So not big sale on the 24th. Not big sales, just $18 worth. And then only a $10 game on the 25th. Then the 26th, which was Saturday when we had our customer appreciation day, I sold $27.50 worth of stuff. A bunny teapot, a PS3 game, and a toy. So, and I think that toy was one of the WWF figures that I showed you guys on a live stream a few months back. And then I sold that zombie sign yesterday, or actually that was today. So sales are still doing really good in the flea market. So I'm really pleased with that. Like I said, I just, hope that I can sell a few more of the video game consoles. I bought two PS4s here locally on Facebook Marketplace on Thursday, and the advertisement said that neither of them worked. And so when I got there to pick them up, it was at a seedy motel here in Montgomery, a Motel 8 that is kind of known for seedy activity like drug dealing and stuff like that. But I went ahead and went anyway, and so I picked up two PS4s. One of them didn't have a hard drive, and it didn't even have a plate on the back that covers the hard drive. But what I did is I pieced them both together and ended up getting one of them to work, and it works. It worked really good, but it was making a lot of noise. It sounded like a jet engine. So what I did was I just took it completely apart and replaced the thermal paste, and now it runs perfect. So it'll probably go in my booth after I sell the next PS4 out of my booth. Let's catch up with the comments. CG says his favorite soda drink in general is Dr. Pepper. That's something we have in common. And Marty says she likes Mountain Dew and Sprite and Dr. Pepper. But you didn't say what your favorite one was, Marty. Invisible River says, never had the cream soda Dr. Pepper. It's very good. I think you would like it if you like Dr. Pepper. William says he likes Dr. Pepper and root beer and Yoo-hoo. And Outdoors says RCs take me back in time. Yeah, RCs and moon pies. With a moon pie, there was a Prairie Home Companion used to come on the radio, and my dad would listen to it. And then there was a local show that also came on, and we would listen to it as we drove down the street. And the guy used to talk about going on into the middle of the night with a RC and a moon pie. A lot of people here in the South take peanuts. We'll take a Pepsi and drop a bag of peanuts inside the Pepsi. Have you guys ever done that? Invisible River says, I just got some RC and it tasted the same. Was about 50 years since he saw RC Cola. Yeah, you don't see it so much anymore as you used to. Tasted like he remembered. And he guessed that was good. Outdoors said they had a RC plant in Columbus, Georgia. Did you guys know that Columbus, Georgia, which is right next to Phoenix City, Alabama, is where Dr. Pemberton lived. He was the inventor of Coca-Cola, and that's where he lived. He was a dentist, and the Coca-Cola actually had real cocaine in it, and you had to have a prescription to get it. Originally, it had cocaine in it. That's why it's called Coca-Cola, because it had coca. Invisible River says, here you can build a 200 square foot storage building with no mechanical, nothing without a permit. Yeah, you guys have, I thought you guys were pretty lax out there in Arizona. I know one of the YouTubers I watched named Camper Van Kevin, he's got a little place out there in Arizona. Not sure what the name of the city is. I think it's Snowflake or somewhere around that area. But he has several buildings that he has put on his land. I don't know if he had to have a permit or anything like that. Marty says she hasn't done that. Outdoors says Jolt Cola will be his favorite. And Badlands Bandit said RC Cola and a moon pie is a Tennessee breakfast. Yeah, that sounds like it. Outdoors says his status still downtown Columbus. Yeah, his statue is still downtown Columbus with the story next to him. Yeah, when I was living near the Phoenix City area, we actually went to Dr. Pemberton's home. In the back, there's a smaller building, which is where he performed dentistry and also cut hair. But he also sold Coca-Cola in the back in his little dentistry office. And I guess he used it to inebriate his customers when he was performing dentistry on them. It always feels nice to meet a fellow Dr. Pepper fan. Yeah, I love you. You don't remember, CG, because you're younger than than a lot of us. But there used to be a commercial that came on that had a real catchy jingle called "I'm a pepper, you're a pepper. Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too?" And then it said, "Be a pepper, drink Dr. Pepper." So that's interesting fact about Dr. Pepper. Did you know it's made from prune juice? Yeah. It's made from prune juice. And the original advertisement said you had to drink it at 3, 6, and 9 o'clock. So they had these special clocks made that had a special circle around 3, 6, and 9. And that's when you were supposed to drink a Dr. Pepper, which was a pretty catchy little thing. Marty says she likes your ice cream glow light. My ice cream glow light. Oh, yeah. That's my ice cream glow light. Thank you. One of the 23 ingredients. So Invisible River is saying that the prune juice is one of the 23 ingredients in Dr. Pepper. And CG says he did not know. So you did not know that Dr. Pepper had prune juice in it, did you? And guess what prune juice is good for? Dallas Flippin', welcome, Dallas. I'm glad that you came on. I said that wrong just so that you would come on and make a comment. So he says that the advertisement was 10, 2, and 4, not 3, 6, and 9, which he is correct. Thank you for the comment, Dallas Flippin'. I hope you're doing well. How's your eBay business going? Are you making a lot of sales? So speaking of eBay, you know, I always share my eBay sales with you guys and let you know how my eBay store is doing. So why should tonight be any different? So I'm going to share with you my eBay store. And let you see how it's doing. Now, the eBay has been picking up, and I'm very, very pleased with how well it's doing. You know, I told you I was having some slow days. I guess the summer slowdown was really affecting my store. I don't know if it was the summer slowdown or if it was something else, but I'll show you you guys how the store is doing. So in the last 31 days, I've almost reached $4,000 in sales. So I've had $3,869.52 in sales. Taxes was $313.46, and my selling cost, which includes shipping, was $1,209.04. So that means my net sales, which is what I took home, was $2,347.02 for the last 31 days. So that is, according to this, is a 9.9% decrease since the last time period. So my average sales per item is $74.41. 52 buyers in 31 days. And video games and consoles still holds the lead for sales. And then next behind that is collectibles, toys and hobbies, and more collectibles. And this is just the chart that shows total sales for the month. You see it's kind of all over the place. Have some good days and some not so good days, but lately the last week has been really, you know, pretty consistent, much better than it had been previously. And I'm not sure, you know, what has changed since then, but looks like my high sales for the month was July the 10th for $553.65 on that particular day. So that was a good day. I was really glad to see the sales pick up toward the end of the month. So big days like that kind of make up for the days when there aren't such good sales. But, you know, I still had some days where there were no sales, like the 15th of July and the 17th of July and the 20th of July. So, and also the 2nd of July. So I had, you know, several days where there were no sales at all, which I don't like to see those kind of days, but it also gives me a little bit of a break on the shipping too. So, Marty asked me, do I know any players from Auburn? No, I don't know any of the players from Auburn. Brent says he's uploading a video to his YouTube channel, and he was busy doing that, but he is back now. And Dallas Flippin, he said he's made a few sales since he tuned into my show. Maybe tuning into my show has helped you make a few sales. Maybe I'm your good luck charm. William Smith says, do you enjoy doing what you like? When you like? Absolutely. You know, my YouTube channel is about my retirement experience. That's why it's called Retire Inspired, because I'm inspired now that I'm retired, and I hope I inspire other people. And it also rhymes, so it's kind of catchy. But yeah, I'm enjoying retirement, and I would recommend it to anybody. And for those of you, I guess a lot of the folks watching this are either resellers or they're retired. Invisible River comes on, and he's pretty consistent, but I think he just watches because he's a friend of mine. He probably has no real interest in eBay, or probably has no real interest in retirement, because he's not retired. He's young, but he doesn't have to work, and that's great. Marty is talking to William. Brent says he can't find my eBay store. Well, Brent, if you will go to my last live stream, I have a link to my eBay store. I'm not telling you to leave this live stream, but you can just click on another tab and open it up. But you can go to my eBay store. Just click on that link, and you can go to my eBay store and peruse. Invisible River says Dr. Pepper is big in Texas. It's nice. Yep. So getting back to the eBay, Brent says he can't retire properly for many, many decades. Yeah, you're still a young guy. You got to do your time, just like the rest of us. So, but it's a good thing once you get there, if you plan correctly. Now, if you didn't make plans to retire, and you're going to get older anyway, and you're eventually going to be at retirement age. But if you didn't plan your retirement very well, say you just worked a job and you really didn't put any money aside for your retirement, then retirement may not be a good time for you, because eventually everyone's going to have to retire. Some folks, have to work in their 60s on up until they're, in their 70s. But like Invisible River says, you got to plan for it. And I agree with that completely. I believe that you have to be planning when you're in your early 20s, getting ready for retirement, and knowing that it's going to come eventually. So, I mentioned before on other videos that I've had that the best way to plan for retirement is to become debt-free, not to have any debt. That is one of the biggest things that you can do to help ease any burdens you may have when you get to retirement age. Because even if you worked a decent paying job, Social Security was never intended to be your only source of income in retirement. It was only intended to be a supplement. And some people ended up, not really planning for retirement, and then they ended up depending on Social Security alone as their only source of income. Now, if you don't have any expenses, say you like Bob Wells, Cheap RV living. Say you live in a van and down by the river, right? But say you live in a van a full time, and you stay on BLM land, which stands for Bureau of Land Management. You don't have to pay to stay on that land. You can stay on it for, I think it's up to a week, 2 weeks before you have to move. But if you did that and you moved from place to place and you were nomadic, you could easily live off of $1,400, which is the average amount that most people receive in Social Security. But if you like have an apartment or you're paying a mortgage, that's going to run you $9,000, $1,200 or more. So that's going to eat up most of your Social Security, unless you're staying in an apartment or a house with other folks who are also receiving a Social Security check. Marty says that her mom is going to retire when she's in her 80s. Oh, wow. And Invisible River says it's real easy to have no retirement. It is. I've always said, and I've heard this, so I didn't come up with it, but I've always said, if you fail to plan, if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. And that is very true. So you really don't want to be caught with your proverbial pants down when it comes to retirement. You want to be planning that early on with hopefully you get a job that has a pension, but those jobs are not quite as available as they used to be. Pensions are not available to most young people these days, unless you work a state job or a civil service job with the federal government. But the federal government, they let go of a lot of folks when the Trump administration came in, and Elon Musk had the DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, and they just started laying off people right and left that work for the federal government, including contractors. And so the federal government is not a real secure place to work these days. Invisible River says he don't never had. I'm not sure what that means. Are you saying you don't have a retirement? He got lucky. Well, I hope you can expound on that. Brent says his dad has a wonderful pension from ConAgra Foods. We have ConAgra Foods here in Alabama. It wasn't called that when he started working there. When he retired, it was. Okay. Well, nothing beats having a good pension. That's for sure. When is Auburn's first game in college football? I'm not really sure. That's a good question. And Visible River says he tried, just needed the money for pop-ups. I saw some of your videos, Invisible River, when you were first getting your land out there in Arizona. He went out there and bought some land. It looked like you have a motor home. Do you still have that motor home? And if so, is that what you live in? I know you've got a couple of tents on your property out there that you use on a regular basis, but do you live in the motorhome or do you live in the tents? What is your living situation out there in the desert? Let's see. He says need the money for pop-ups. He got family parents stuff. Okay. House. Okay. And Brent says Ohio State Buckeyes, no Auburn Buzzards. 40-foot coach. Okay, so you're living in the 40-foot coach, and are you considered a nomad? Or are you since you've got the land now, are you Are you homesteaded? Is that what your situation is? It's invisible like his ranch. What's invisible like his ranch? The coach? But yeah, I would love to have a bigger recreational vehicle that I could, be more comfortable in. I'm not, don't get me wrong, I'm not terribly uncomfortable in my Sprinter van. I'm really comfortable in that van. I have plenty of space in there, but it would be nice to be able um, to have more room, have a bigger vehicle that has more space, maybe a box truck or even a motorhome, a Class C motorhome. But from everything I've heard, that the Class C motorhomes and some of those motorhomes were not really meant to live in full time when they were built. So they were made out of kind of, poor material. And the material that they're made out of doesn't really hold up to the wear and tear of living in them full time. So, I wouldn't live in them full time because I'm always going to be at home here in Montgomery. Um, I would never, will never, not saying I wouldn't, because it would be fun to do it for extended periods, living in a vehicle in a nomadic style lifestyle. But I'm married and happily so, and I don't think my wife would appreciate it too much if I just hopped in my Sprinter van and took off for 8 months to 10 months. But she's very good about allowing me to go and do things and go see places that I wanted to go visit before my retirement. That was the whole point, of retirement and buying that Sprinter van, was so that I could go explore different places, like going out to Arizona, where I have met some really cool people, and one of those is Outdoors Dreadhead, who is a full-time nomad, and he lives in a bus, which is a big bus, so it's more than adequate for his needs. And he built it out himself, so he didn't have to worry about having substandard materials in his vehicle. He knows exactly what he's got in his vehicle. He's got so much solar that he will never need to plug in anywhere, which I really admire that. I think it's great that he has got such a good setup, and he had the intelligence to be able to set that up for himself. So that was really good that he was able to do that. So Invisible River says he has a Newmar Dutch Star, and that he is here. I guess. So. You're saying that you're homesteaded. No, I don't, Marty. Shore power. Yeah, I think if you can avoid having to plug into shore power, if you have solar, that's probably the best way to go. If I had, if I was going to be on the road more often, I would have already had solar installed on my Sprinter. But I still want to get solar installed on my Sprinter. But a van, you don't have that much roof space to really install the solar. But I do have these ladder racks that were on the van when I bought it. And so you can take those ladder racks and open them up. And my plan is to mount solar on top of those ladder racks so that I can have solar when I go out to the desert and not have to plug up, or have to find ways to recharge my solar generator. I do have a solar generator, and it works really good. It's a Blue Eddy, and it works really well. And I can charge it. I do have 200 watts solar that I can charge it with, but it takes forever. It takes a long time to charge it, and it has to be in direct sunlight the whole time. Invisible River says his family says it's small. Me and the cat like it. I guess you're talking about your rig, right? No hassles from the house. 390 square feet. Okay, so your rig is 390 square feet and you have solar. All my night lights are solar. And yes, you can do solar, no problem. Well, that's what I want to do is I want to get some solar installed. I don't have the knowledge like Outdoors Dreadhead had. If he was able to install his solar himself. So I'm probably gonna, when I do get the solar, I'll have someone help me figure it out. Marty says she likes my neighbor's sign. Thank you. The neighbors do have better candy. So I'm going to show you real quick. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it because I don't want to bore you guys to death. But I'm going to show you real quick some of the things that I have sold in my eBay store here in the recent past. So let's go to my eBay store. I've had some pretty decent sales. I'm just now starting to sell some of the McFarlane stuff. I paid $350 for 7 tubs of McFarlane baseball figures, and they're just now starting to sell. So here's one of them. It's Cincinnati's Reds Series 4 Johnny Bench in the pack. A McFarlane action figure. Actually, it's not an action figure because it's not a toy. These things were made as a display for collectors. Sold a T-shirt, Back to the Future side T-shirt, extra large, with the car on it. It says, let's see, let's take a real quick look at it. So it says, "Take me back to 1985." It looks like a vintage shirt, but it's not. It's a modern shirt. So it's an extra large Back to the Future T-shirt. And it sold for $18.29. I bought that at the thrift store for $2. Sold my Skeletor. This is like a 4-inch figure, action figure from the 80s, and it sold for $22. They sent me an offer. You see the $26.99 has a line through it, and it sold for $22. I bought this last October when I was in Pennsylvania visiting my friend's Rat's Stash, and we went to Jake's flea market. This was at the flea market. There was several of the Masters of the Universe figures from the 1980s, and so I bought several of them from him for about $80. Here's another one of those McFarlane action figures. It's a Ken Griffey series. And it's going to be a while before I make my money back on these. I don't know if it was a good purchase. I probably wouldn't do it again. But I still have a ton of these action figures, or I keep calling them action figures, these collector's items to sell, and they're not selling near as quick as I'd hoped that they would. So if you're getting into the reselling game, or if you're already in the reselling game, I would not advise buying those in bulk. Maybe buy one or two. Maybe buy one or two, but don't buy a bunch of them in bulk. So I sold a pair of shoes, and these Hoka shoes I bought at a yard sale for $2, and they sold for $58.50. They didn't even send an offer. They just paid what I had them listed for. And this lot of Betty Boop ephemera has been in my store for quite a long time. You can tell how long it's been in my store because of the background. This background, I haven't taken photos on this background in over a year and a half. But these are mostly postcards. These four larger ones, and this one here are postcards, and then there were a couple of magnets. But this lot sold for $22.49. I got this at a yard sale for $1. So finally sold. Took forever. Some people like Betty Boop, some people don't. But this one finally did sell. And then I sold this little this girl. It's a 9-inch doll. My Little Pony Equestria Girls. Never knew that existed. I had to look it up using the photo thing on my eBay app. But this Equestria Girl doll sold for $9.81. I paid $5 for a little bucket full of a bunch of different stuff, including My Little Ponies in there. And so that one paid for the whole bucket by itself. Then I sold an Apple smart keyboard, and this is something I bought in a yard sale for $5, and it sold for $49.50. I sold a set of shoulder pads. Now, these shoulder pads have been in my store for quite some time. I don't buy shoulder pads anymore because they're just not easy to sell. But these sold for $31.50. They're a set of youth shoulder pads made for tiny kids who are getting into the football thing. So I also sold another pair of shoes, a Saucony. These sold for $38. There's a line marked through it, the $40. And these I bought actually off of another reseller. It was I bought these from Harry Tornado. He had a Whatnot live stream, and I actually bought these for myself. I wore these to Arizona last year. They're size 11.5. So when I was in Arizona last year, I was wearing these shoes. They're very comfortable. But I had some other shoes that I like better and just didn't need to wear these anymore. So I said, well, I'll just list them on eBay. And I did, and they sold for $40. I think I paid $20 for 2 pairs, so like $10 a pair when I bought these. And this Uniden Bear tracker, this is a CB radio. Actually, no, this is not a CB radio. This is a scanner. And I got this when I was in March of this year, when I went to Orlando, and my aunt and I went to a couple of yard sales, and this was at a church yard sale, and I paid $5 for it. It's a Bearcat scanner.
When you come back down, Mr. Finley, bring a wheelchair. We're going to need a wheelchair. 84 to Lounge County, show myself, 832. 2 mics, 1 Foxtrot. Alex, 85359.
That's the video I took that I used in the listing. But I sold that for $52.20, and I had $20 into it. But yeah, that's some of the stuff that I've sold recently. I figured I would share a little bit of that with you before I closed out my live stream tonight, so you guys could see some of the things that I'm actually selling. So let me catch up on the comments here. Invisible River says microwave is tough on solar. Yeah, I bet it is because it uses a lot of power. Probably takes up most of the power in your batteries. TV and lights are easy. Okay. And his bird feeder cam is all solar. Christmas is coming. Yep, sure is. And Michael J. Fox, Back in the Future. Yep. So, you know, I have been on for a little over an hour now, so I think it's time for me to go ahead and wrap things up. Let you guys know that I appreciate you being on tonight. Especially appreciate those who haven't been on the live stream in a little bit. Brent Mania, thank you for coming on to the live stream tonight. Good to see you on here. And Marty's always on, so it's good to see her on here. William Smith, my brother, he's on. He's pretty consistent, and outdoors has been pretty consistent lately. Thank you for being on. Dallas Flippin hasn't been on in a while, so it's good to see you on here, Dash, from Dallas Flippin. If you guys want to check out his YouTube channel, he also has a YouTube channel. And of course, CG Anime Fan, glad to have you on here, and Visible River and Marty Baker. So Badlands Bandit, let's not forget Badlands Bandit. I appreciate you for being on here as well. It's always good to have him on here. I really appreciate that he calls it Retire Inspired Nation. That's pretty cool. So I'm going to get on off of here and say goodnight to you guys, and hope you guys have a fabulous week, and hope that everything goes well for you. The heat is not too much for you. I had some really incredibly high electric bills this last month. For my house, my electric bill was $380, and for this house here where I do my eBay, it was $350. So that's over $700 in just electric bills this past month. So it's been very expensive. I hope you guys haven't had real expensive bills like that. But enough said about that. Want to let you guys know that hope you guys have a good night. Thank you, Marty. Invisible River says should put a Christmas tree in your store above all the stuff you want to sell. Yeah, I know, right? William says good night. So good. Like I said, I hope you guys have a terrific week, and hopefully we'll see you guys again next Sunday, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And try to stay cool, stay out of the sun, drink plenty of water, stay hydrated, and we'll see you next week. So love you guys. Take care, and we'll see you again next Sunday. Bye-bye.